All Blacks have named a new captain, and that captain is Sam Cane. I guess it's not. I mean, I was a little bit surprised by the timing. I wasn't sure this was coming, but those in the know may have known. But yeah, in terms of the possible candidates, I mean, most of the guys talked about Sam Whitelock, Sam Cane, probably one of the Sams, basically. So yeah, it's interesting to see him be appointed at this point. They've already put out brief video conference statements from Sam himself and from Coach Ian Foster, talking about why he got the role, when they decided to release this announcement and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. He's certainly pretty experienced. He's been an All Black since 2012, which seems like a hugely long time ago now, especially when you consider he's still in his 20s. He's 28 years old. So he was one of those guys that the All Blacks identified early as kind of a breakthrough player, and obviously identified him early as a leadership candidate, back when Richie McCaw was still in charge, because they let him captain the side when he was, what was it, like 23? 23 years old in 2015. That was a real kind of out of the blue moment where they let him captain the All Blacks. He's only captained the All Blacks 3 times, but he's been captain of the Chiefs since 2016, so he's not lacking in terms of leadership. What did Ian Foster say about him? In terms of his qualities, basically he's comfortable in his own skin. He's learned under great leaders such as Richie McCaw. He asks a lot of questions if he's not clear about something or he thinks the team is not clear. Ian kind of joked that he said that that's frustrating at times to be asked so many questions, but again, you'd rather, if you're thinking about it like someone who's an employee of yours, you'd probably rather them understand it and get it right 100% than to just kind of muddle on. He also mentioned that he's a kind of follow me type of guy, which rings true with what Sam said himself when they asked him questions about kind of what qualities does he think he himself brings to the All Blacks jersey. He talked about setting a good example, wanting to play well, and basically that things would kind of follow from there. And then you're able to have those hard conversations if needs be, because people know it comes from a genuine place. So he also mentioned it's not something that you chase. You don't really set out to be All Blacks captain, but if it fits, then it might be something you kind of evolve into. And he said he's done that. He mentioned it being an honour and a privilege. So yeah, I mean, as a Kiwi, I don't think there'll be as much controversy about that as Ian Foster's appointment as coach. There was a fair bit of disappointment about New Zealand, because it wasn't the sexy option when you had Scott Robertson there as well. But Sam Cane for captain, I think it's one most people should get behind. We're used to having a loose forward as our captain. As I said, he's been around the block with the All Blacks. He's been there since 2012. He's bounced back from a horrendous neck injury not that long ago, so he shows kind of his strength of character and his physical determination. So yeah, good on Sam. Congratulations, man. All Blacks captain. Ian Foster mentioned it being for the next few years, so one would imagine Ian can only decide on how long his contract is. So Ian's got a contract as All Blacks boss for 2 years, so he'll probably keep Sam there for his tenure, and assuming he gets extended, one would expect Sam to go through to the next World Cup when he'll be in his early 30s, which is probably about right. So it all seems to fit rather nicely. Yeah, 68 caps as an All Blacks. He is definitely an experienced guy for a guy, as I mentioned, who's still 28. And if not for injuries, he could have played even more. So, one thing before I go is Sam sent me a message on Patreon, which raised a good question. What does this mean for Ardie Savia? Because you could argue that in the last kind of 12, 18 months, Ardie Savia has become one of, if not the first name off the All Blacks team sheet at times with the form that he's been in. And they've shuffled him around the pack a bit. I mean, Sam shuffles around a bit with the Chiefs as well, but I would say All Blacks likely he plays 7. And it's unlikely, I would imagine, with the form that he's been in. Obviously, he's injured at the moment, but nobody's playing at the moment anyway. It doesn't really matter. But if Ardie is back and fit, it may be that if Sam is your captain and he is the first name off the team sheet, then if Ardie is going to slot in the starting lineup, it's probably going to be 8 for him. I can't imagine it going any other way. I mean, you could chuck him on the bench because he covers a lot of positions, but with Ardie Savia being in the form that he's been in, I can't see him doing anything but starting. But yeah, like I mentioned, congratulations to Sam. Wish him well as captain of the All Blacks. Hopefully he's enjoying this time. He said it was a bit weird, being locked down, but he said his parents mentioned that, it was a similar prideful moment for them, like similar to when he was announced as an All Black for the first time. So it's kind of one of those special moments in life. So very cool. Yeah. What do you guys reckon? How do you think Sam's going to go as captain? He's not the most... All Blacks captains are generally not particularly like entertaining or great speakers. They're not that eloquent. But you get the feeling he commands a lot of respect when he talks, just for mine. But yeah, I'm trying to think who's a really fun captain to listen to when they give interviews. I'll have to think about it. Maybe that's not a thing with rugby players. No, I'm sure some of them do. Anyway, guys, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.